how much more did it just become important that you are now setting priorities and boundaries for yourself, or else you will be living a life passively?
I'm living like a chicken. I'm going to work, I earn a few bucks, I go back home, I'm in this like one room apartment, and I see all the hundreds of other apartments. And I was like, that's life?
I think one of my biggest lessons about, I would say, like the past 5 years is that I stopped seeing myself as a victim.
Hello, everyone.
Everyone?
Welcome.
Which camera is it?
Welcome to this first episode of the Bulletproof Podcast. We are super excited. Steve, hello. It's amazing to do this in English.
This is going to be the first, is it?
I mean, it's the first in English, I think.
I think it's the first in English, yeah. We have done some in German.
Yeah.
I mean, some.
It's a bit weird for us
few?
because, we did a few in German, but it was always weird for us because Steve, his brand was in English.
Mm-hmm.
Mine was in German. So it was always, how are we doing this?
What's the audience?
We did a few in Portugal last year,
Yeah.
or 2 years ago.
Yeah.
We did
2 years ago?
We did one when I hit 5,000 subscribers on YouTube in Budapest.
Mm-hmm.
It was fun.
True. True.
I think that was a live stream actually, not a podcast.
That was a live stream. Damn.
That was a time where podcast wasn't that big.
Yeah.
It was like live streaming time.
Why didn't we not continue that?
Now we are doing, so welcome everyone to the first episode. So we wanted to do this for the first time, Steve and I. We love to talk about everything basically all day long. So to put this into a podcast while, building Bulletproof, I think makes the most sense for us. And we are talking about this for quite some time, but there was so much happening behind the scenes that we didn't have the time.
Yeah.
So this year we said, okay, let's do it and let's start the podcast. So it's the perfect timing. And in this episode, in the first one, we want to use the time to just introduce ourselves to, I think especially for you, Steve, because you had this huge growth on Instagram last year, to just, talk a little bit, what are we doing? What is our background in content creation? Maybe talk about your journey on IG last year. Mm-hmm. There's so much stuff because it's so hard to get your personality into like 30-second videos on Instagram.
It's hard, yeah.
And,
That's
so you have so many people now there and they don't really know who you are. So I think that's really nice for that.
Yeah, that's true. Like, that's just like, short clips doesn't really give you any depth. That's why we do this podcast.
Yeah. So this first episode should really serve as some kind of introduction for you guys. If you want to learn more about Steve, about his background, but also mindset, because we are building, like we said, we are building Bulletproof together. So maybe one last point, if we jump into the reason behind this podcast, to keep it valuable today, we want to share some life lessons. So while we are introducing ourselves to the audience, we are going to share 3 life lessons, each of us, and to share some kind of learnings over the past years from us. So before we jump into this, do you want to maybe go through what this podcast means, what the idea behind this podcast is, just to explain this to the audience?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think in general, podcasts are a format right now, or is a format that has just been exploding through the content space. And I think we have been talking about podcasts for years, just never really had the chance, I think time-wise and also interest-wise, to create something like this where we just kind of put our energy and our interests into something that we both enjoy doing. And now that's why we do, or wanted to start Bulletproof Podcast. I mean, the name, are we going to call it Bulletproof Podcast, or is that?
How do you guys like this? So
we're going to, as you see, it's the first episode, so we have no clue yet how this actually is going to be named. But in terms of like what it should be, I think both of us like creativity and tech and also mindset. So to have the kind of a platform where we just can go into depth for people to really, not just see maybe those reels and shorts and kind of TikToks or whatever, which most people are putting out, but it's very hard to kind of like understand what's maybe also behind those people who are actually creating that content. So we want to really dive into this and go into the kind of intersection between creativity, technology, and mindset. And I think that is how we can reach the people on a different level. And also, because for me, it's always about trust. That's what I think what I have learned. And I think with this format, we can really make Bulletproof something that actually can create trust and just share around these topics. And it's about creative mindset, personal development. It's going to be, about content creation in general. I think this space is changing all the time. The landscapes are changing. The attention is shifting. There is new platforms being introduced, and you have new trends you want to kind of like be part of, but how is that actually, helping you, or is it not helping you? So we're going to talk about a lot of like content as well, or about content, but then behind the scenes, I think it's a big one because people want to see behind the scenes. Yeah. That's why we have a camera over there.
Yeah. Hello, camera.
Which shows all the messy part. Like, I think the 2 frames right here are very nice to look at, hopefully. But then we have like, if you see what's behind here, then you don't even...
There's a couch and everything. it's a huge mess.
It's a total mess. The kitchen is not even like done. So yeah, it's what behind the scenes means, because that brings in the personality, or not the personality, but the transparency, how someone maybe can just share more about their lives. And this is why we want to do that as well, because we have different backgrounds as well, and behind the scenes.
Yeah.
And obviously trends and strategies. I think it's very broad in my opinion, but that's the point, because we are very broad-minded. Mm-hmm. Broad-minded. Yeah, makes sense.
Let's just invent words as well here.
Broad-minded. We are open-minded. I think that's the better word. Yeah. And broad-minded. That's a good one, actually.
Yeah.
And that's why we want to bring together all our skills.
Yeah.
So, and this is going to be. It should be very. I think it should be very chill as well.
Yeah.
Like obviously we need to get comfortable first. This is the first episode.
It's weird for us because we normally talk German between each other. So Steve is from Switzerland. I'm from Germany. So there will be a lot of weird moments coming out of this mouth here.
Yeah.
So it's going to be fun as well. And to really get this calmness into the conversation we usually have and talk about stuff we like, I think it's the goal here. And also to invite creative minds and talk about their journeys. We had Tom Noski and George Siridopoulos. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right.
I think so, yeah.
If I'm not, sorry, George. And those conversations have been amazing. Just learning from other creators how they are doing this, and it's just so eye-opening. Mm-hmm. So I think to sit down, just between the two of us to talk about current stuff, our thoughts, learnings, but also, what's happening in the social media space, content space, tech space, and how this impacts the social media space and all spaces of the world. So going to be
Many
fun.
Spaces.
Let us know, from you guys, if you like it, what should we talk about? And I think, just checking my list here to know where we're going with this. Also behind the scenes, what I wanted to talk is behind the scenes of building our business, because Steve and I, we have been friends for many, many years, and we are now building Bulletproof, which is like this, learning, or like home for creators, we call it. And I think there are so many learnings already in the past five months from your success on Instagram, and then now coming here and building the brand and realizing so many things, starting a course, and then after working on it, realizing, okay, are we still happy with this stuff? So it's so much stuff that happens behind the scenes. Like if you start out as a creator, you think, let's just build a business. Let's do this.
Yeah.
But there's so much stuff happening in the background. You need to learn skills and challenges and problems. And so I think that's also what I meant, like behind the scenes with this stuff. So,
I mean, it's at the end of the day, we are creative people who have been freelancing, and now we are being introduced to entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I think that's the main difference, because it's always easy kind of like to talk about entrepreneurship on a certain level, because everyone is kind of not an entrepreneur these days in their bios, which is also a bit, it can be, I don't know, it can be like misleading sometimes. So I think for us, we are not like, this is the beginning. So for everyone watching, that's why I think transparency is so important. Like, we are not, those highly successful entrepreneurs yet. Maybe that changes.
Yeah.
But this is why what this podcast can make a lot of sense, because that can actually be kind of this journey buddy. It will be following us along this journey.
Yeah.
And hopefully also for us to look back in a few years and have like something also to kind of, it's like a documenting, and to see how we also maybe grew as people, or as the persons we are. And then also just kind of like, I don't know, whatever that, I mean, that is content as well. So you can do anything with it eventually. And I'm super excited.
Yeah, there's so much stuff. Also for you guys, maybe we can share a few lessons that we learned with losing money or having many problems, and sharing them with the audience, so you don't have to make the same mistakes. I think that's pretty nice. And for now, we want to do this podcast every 2 weeks, so twice a month. It's the beginning schedule, and then we want to ramp this up later this year to 1 episode each week. So that's the goal with this. So expect us back in 2 weeks. And I would say, let us jump into the main topic, just to introduce ourselves roughly. Also, I wanted to say we are new to the entrepreneurship, but we have been freelancing. We have been working in a startup, so there is some knowledge we are bringing to the table, which we now try to implement ourselves into a business. Yeah. So it's easy. What we are realizing right now, it's easy to always, when you're not building something yourself, it's easy to talk about it. But doing is really the hard part, where you realize so many things you've been talking about. It's going to be so easy. Yeah, no worries. We can do this way better. And then you're doing it, and then you realize how hard this is.
It's not easy
It's
at
just
all.
You have this product and everything in your head, but getting this out of your head into the real world as a real product, it's a whole kind of different thing. So
it's just basically you're just solving problems all the time. Nice problems as well, but it's always something that is not quite working out. Then you're working on that solution, and then you figure out, okay, now this is not working. And then you have, I think we realized this today, like we have our schedule and our agenda for the whole day, but then something stops working, like the email addresses. And all of a sudden, we didn't receive any emails anymore. And then this is now something we need to solve in between the things we actually scheduled. Yeah. And now the whole schedule just goes down, and it's like, okay, this now needs to sacrifice, basically. Yeah. So it's always like this just juggling of, okay, which problem has now priority?
Yeah.
So yeah, but it's exciting, and it's I think that's a challenge which also sparks growth as a person.
Yeah. Life lessons. Let's jump into the topic to share our journeys. And let's go ahead, Steve. What is your first life lesson of your life? Like, just one big learning over the past years, maybe starting at the beginning, and then just walking us through your journey as becoming as a creator or something. So yeah, what's your first one?
I think one of my biggest lessons in general about, I would say, like the past 5 years, is that I stopped seeing myself as a victim. Because when I look back, it was very, like, I was not as confident as I am today. I mean, I'm still not super confident, but I'm way more confident than I was 5 years ago. And I think the reason why I was always, when I look back, kind of like putting myself as a victim, which is a hard title, but what I mean with it, like, is that my idea of how the world works was like that everything happens, that I have this very challenging path, whatever that path was. I mean, probably we have a chance at some point to go into that as well, but it was just a very challenging path. And I was just kind of like saying to myself, well, I am just unlucky. I am a victim of this world who cannot, basically do something that other people are doing. At the same time, I was so privileged to grow up in a country like Switzerland, and to put myself even in a victim position is a very it's a very dumb thing to do, because you just kind of like not realizing where you're coming from, because there's way other circumstances out there which are way more hard to grow up or to just like tackle through. And this was the past 5 years was like, okay, I need to stop with that negativity. I think that's where it comes from, like, watching the news, being influenced by the news, being on social media, getting influenced by certain social media influencers even, which maybe are also not always as positive. And now you create, even with the algorithm, I think it also starts to snowball, because you create this bubble that everything now is bad, and everything kind of like destroys you, and everything makes you feel miserable. And I think this is where I just quit, and that accelerated over the last year actually. But I quit watching news altogether. I know what's happening, but I know it because everyone else sometimes, like, they are talking about it. So I will know if something really bad happens, and I need to know. But those micro events, which have just very, very little influence on my life, they and make me feel miserable. I don't want to have those when I wake up in the morning and the first thing is like checking the news and be like, what? That's another shitty day. Like this made me very miserable in my mind, and dragged me down into, I would say, into kind of a depression. And so kind of losing that over the last, I would say, 2 to 3 years was probably one of the strongest thing I could do for myself, just to be like, okay, I am in control about my life. Like, I have everything that I need. I'm healthy. I grew up in a very good area on this planet. I have education. I have, opportunities. So what else is there that I need to make myself get out in the morning, or to just like get up in the morning and be actually, creating something?
Yeah.
Like, this is just, it's stupid to be like negative. But again, I know how that happens. And that's why I think it's so important to talk about it. Because negativity is everywhere, but so is positivity.
Yeah.
And opportunities. So yeah, I think that was my biggest lesson, because the net positive effect here is way better to help people and create something with people than crying on the internet.
Yeah.
So yeah, stop putting myself as a victim is probably the biggest one. Yeah.
Yeah, using the opportunities you have. And we realized this when we have been like traveling over the past years, how amazing it is to have this German or Swiss passport. Even coming from here, we have with the money we are earning here in the Western countries, we just have the possibility to travel everywhere. I mean, of course, you still have to save money, but it's I think available to each and every one of us if we put the work into it. But talking to the people in Indonesia or whatever, they are dreaming to go to Europe, and it's just so far away because just the flight ticket is already, I don't know, a year of income from some of them, or like for some more, and just to be in this position. And then you realize it's just when you're traveling and when you see other cultures, because it's just normal here. So yeah, that's a good one. Yeah. Should I go?
Yeah, go with yours.
So I'm starting way back to maybe introduce myself a bit. So I've been, I was a salesman back in Germany when I left school, and I didn't know what to do, where to go. I had no idea. I was just partying and YOLO, how they say. I don't know if it's still a thing, YOLO, but yeah, I've been in Germany. I hated every day being a salesman. Like I back in the day, I was, that is what I want to do. But it wasn't. I hated going to work and, I don't know, earning like $50, $100 going to work for one day, and just standing there and approaching people and trying to sell them something. I remember the last day I did this. In Germany, I was working for Sky, and there was just this person coming in. I was approaching, I was preparing my marketing and putting flyers everywhere. And he was entering the market. It was January. And he was like, I was trying to sell him Sky, just asking him some questions. If I can ask him some, like, a few questions for survey. And he was like, yeah, you want to get my data and sell the data to earn money and everything. And he was just great, like shouting at me. And that was the day where everything came together for me. And I just threw the stuff away, like the papers I had in my hand, and I was just leaving the market, and that's it. That's it. So yeah, that, like, after this, there was like some kind of change for me. I remember I was standing in my apartment in Rostock in Germany, and you know the story. I was looking out of my window, like all the big blocks. I was living in a one room apartment. I was looking outside, and I thought, like, I'm living like a chicken. I'm going to work. I earn a few bucks. I go back home. I'm in this like one room apartment, and I see all the hundreds of other apartments. I was like, that's life? Like, fuck that. And then I decided with a friend to go to Mallorca just to try something new. There was like this sell tickets on the beach for party boats or stuff. I was 20, let's do it. Like, sold everything I had, jumped into the plane, went to Mallorca, and that was the first, like, I still sold stuff, but I still hated it. I was on the beach and sold tickets, and I was like, selling is not my thing. And my life lesson with this is like, don't be too close-minded. Like, try things. And I tried things like getting my first camera, and this was like the first GoPro, I think, or the second one. And I was just randomly filming on boat parties. So I was selling the tickets, and I was filming the boat parties and making videos out of this. And then, like, something happened. I was enjoying the process of making videos. So I just sat down and edited like party videos for those party boats. And try to sell them. So I tried to integrate some business thinking into this. Never happened. We never sold one copy of this. But this was the first time for me being a creative to try something new. And I enjoyed the process of just being creative, just making videos. And this continued making videos for trips with our friends, traveling through Mallorca and filming our parties and everything, and just making like a holiday video, and everyone loved this. And I never had this kind of feedback to do something and people liked this stuff. And this was the one thing that drew me into the creative space. And then I got my first camera, and I filmed the cat we had at home all day, with my first lens. It was a Canon 700D and a 50mm lens. So that was it. Like, I was just trying stuff, learning manual focus and everything. And then, one thing after another, and I was a freelancer, a filmmaker on Mallorca, filming, weddings with you. We met for the first time with our drones. So this was like the step that led to, you being my best friend, brother, many opportunities, many amazing clients, and now sitting here and recording podcast, basically. So yeah, the life lesson, that was a lot of stuff. It's just, be open-minded, try new things, because if you never try new things, you will never find out what you maybe really like. And after this, we still tried things, and we realized that those are not for us. I think we tried crypto and startups, everything, and now we are back into the creative space, and we are really trying to take this seriously. So that's like one lesson that really changed my life. Try things, especially when you're young, in your 20s. I think that's amazing. Like, you have no risk, you have nothing to lose. Just, try things, and try them for a bit, not just for a week or something. I think then you cannot tell if that's for you or something, but try it for a bit. And yeah, you have nothing to lose. So yeah, that's my first one.
I think, I mean, this goes back to like finding yourself and creating yourself, which we talked about like a few days ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and people expect to go outside and be like, this is now what I want to do for the rest of my life. For whatever reason, it might be because their parents told them that this is now what they should be doing, or it might be because society is telling them what they should be doing. But like, there is nothing, you cannot go outside and find yourself. You have to create yourself. And what you did is exactly that. You tried out things that you wanted to try out because you were curious to actually see if that is something you might like. But the good thing is we don't need to like everything. And I think this is what you did. You didn't go and try to look for yourself, but you actually created yourself. And that's why, everyone has interests, everyone has opportunities, which are basically coming from trying out those things. Because if you never try out something new, how would you ever have opportunities? And in that case, as you said, like you went through a lot of different journeys just to end up in something that you actually initially already knew that this is maybe for you. But sometimes we get in a position where there is something more shiny, unfortunately, like the grass is never greener on the other side.
Yeah.
But that's the journey. That's especially when you're young and in your 20s, I think you don't know that. You always kind of like get tempted to hunt those shiny objects. But then you kind of realize after a while that there will always be obstacles, no matter what you're doing. But it needs to be something you really want to do. I think your gut feeling tells you that very quickly.
And I remember I read this book, How to Invest in Real Estate. When I was 21, I was still in Rostock in Germany. And I was like, yeah, someday I want to be rich. Cool.
Yeah.
But I never did something to get there. I never, you need to do the things you read. And that's what we talk a lot about, like in Bulletproof, like everywhere. Doing, you learn so much with doing, not just about the thing you're doing, but about yourself. Mm-hmm. It's so crazy how much stuff you're learning and how much confidence and just self-belief and trust this brings to you as a person.
Yeah.
Just not, I need to shop. I keep doing it for the rest of my life. It's good money. But for me, that's not what life is about. It's about trying new things, and I rather try more things and be not successful, but than just, living a life I don't want to live. So
I think that's where, there's definitely people out there, I would say, who are enjoying, not a content creator lifestyle. Because I think it also becomes kind of a trend right now to kind of like, bash on the 9-to-5 situation, because everyone now has the opportunity on the internet to make money. But at the same time, there is people out there who are happy with their 9-to-5. They do not want to, take those risks. Mm-hmm. And they are completely fine. They have, maybe their family, and they get back home after work and they enjoy their work, and they, they want that kind of life. And this is awesome. And I think that's the bottom line. Like, it doesn't matter what you are doing, and, happiness and all that is a word that gets thrown around quite often these days. But it's true. You have to be somehow, happy with what you're doing. Otherwise, what's the point?
Yeah.
Like what you just said, like you don't want to just exist. You want to live your life. Mm-hmm. And if you can live your life as a content creator or as someone who has a 9-to-5, perfect. Like there's advantage and disadvantage on both sides.
Yeah.
Like here is risk and no stable income, and you never really know what you're actually doing. and then you have here a stable job that brings you a regular income, and you have your holidays and your vacation, and I think that's just kind of a very personal decision, and there is no right or wrong.
No. I don't mean try, go the way we are doing. Just could also try a new job. If you don't like your job, try a new field, like maybe try coding, try being a gardener. I don't know if that makes you happy, and planting plants all the time. Like
sounds amazing to me.
Sounds pretty chill. Yeah,
it sounds really cool.
So, and I think we like right now our life is exhausting.
Yeah.
But for me, it's kind of good exhausting. So I feel fulfilled.
Satisfying.
Doing this stuff. So anyways, should we jump into your second one to get going?
Mm-hmm. The second one I wrote down here is saying no and focus more.
That's a big one.
I mean, I think I realized that, especially once again over the last few months when things really went kind of crazy with the whole Instagram and then starting Bulletproof with you. And it's like, I just realized, okay, there's not much time. Like, there is time, but at the same time, I realized, okay, my day only has this amount of time. Like, I'm sleeping a good percentage of that day. I'm eating. I have to, go to the gym and just do my other things in life. And that leaves me with about like 8 to 10 hours where I can really focus and actually work and do something. But if I say yes to everything, like be it, going out and partying on the weekend and then being completely hungover on Monday and then needing like 2 days to actually recover and then already losing that time to actually be productive and focused, like you cannot be focused if you're still wasted. Like it's that kind of obstacles and distractions and many things that you have in your life, but you don't really realize how much they are actually taking away your time. Also the phone. I mean, you know me. I'm a complete addict to my phone. I became one. Like I think we all kind of are addicts, but I am a total addict, and it made me miserable because the thing is, like, yes, it is a tool, but it has to stay a tool. And if it tools you, basically, then there is something wrong. And that's also saying no, because now what I realized, really putting the phone away out of the room when I'm working, putting on my Pomodoro timer, 30 minutes, and start, like playing some music on, I don't know, like some alpha brain wave music. And it just puts me into a very focused position where I can really do something in 30 minutes. Whereas if there is a phone next to me crying for attention every 10 minutes or every 30 seconds, how are you ever going to be able to actually become focused? And I think that's when it comes to like saying no, it's about distractions. It's about saying no to your friends when they want to go party or when they want to hang out. It's about also saying no to maybe within the family, that I think you have to sacrifice certain things to actually move the needle for yourself. If you want to do something that is outside of the norm.
8 p.m. Switzerland.
This is, we're just going to let that one go because there's a church around the corner and it's doing what it's doing right now every hour.
You should listen to it Sunday morning. It's
going absolutely nuts
it's
on
bonkers,
Sunday morning.
Okay.
Perfect. Thank you. We have, what is it, like 8 p.m.? Thank you for telling me that.
Just told you the time.
Yeah, I didn't count. So saying no to the clock. But anyway, I think that is something I really started to implement in my life. Like, everything needs time. And the time is the only thing I will never, ever get back in my life. No matter how much money I have, no matter, like, how many times I'm telling myself that I have still tomorrow to do that one thing I want to do. It's the moment every second that is right now running is gone. Mm-hmm. Like it's never going to come back. Yes, I can extend my life expectancy and like my overall health to actually reach, an age that maybe someone else wouldn't reach. But that's a very risky play, because I don't know how old I am going to be, or, when my day is here to actually kind of like, leave this planet. So I would just really focus, like if this is also a tip maybe for someone who is listening and struggling with focus as well, that saying no doesn't mean that you need to be an asshole. I think that's something also like a misconception. People be like, so now you kind of like, saying no to like your best friends and your family members about whatever. Like, it's not about saying no to them just to kind of like piss them off. It's just to set boundaries and priorities for yourself. And if you communicate that correctly with them, they will not be pissed with you. If they are pissed with you, well, then they are not meant to be on that journey.
Yeah.
Like, then they are not. Like, if they really do not understand that this is important to you and that this is your boundaries you're setting, then they are not meant to be in your life. Doesn't matter who it is, frankly. So just that I'm not going completely off, I think I have a few points which I totally ignored here, as always.
Classic Steve, yeah.
Classic, I just start and then, okay, I'm gone.
Yeah, good points, yeah.
But I would say, just to kind of wrap this up, I'm still working on this skill. I mean, I think with the age of the internet, there is an abundance of information we need to process every single day. That takes time away from your day. So how much more did it just become important that you are now setting priorities and boundaries for yourself, or else you will be living a life passively because you never really get to become active. Like, you have never a chance to become active because all you do is basically passively swiping away your life every day. And we see it, like, when we go outside and you see the people, standing there at the train station waiting for the train and doing this. And I mean, I'm guilty myself. I'm not saying I'm not doing this, but this is what we're basically doing. We're swiping away our life. And I think to just know what you want in life, and then kind of like introducing that very skill to be able to say no is a superpower, because now you know that time is not an issue anymore because you already set your priorities straight, basically. So this is number 2 for me. I mean, it could also be number 1, to be honest, but it's very important that I realize this for myself and not be afraid to say no to people. Because, again, if they are not good with that, then that's their problem and not my problem.
Yeah, it's such a hard skill to learn, because you want to do everything. And I think, being maybe I would turn it this way: in your 20s, or if you're young, try to say yes to a lot of things. And then if you're getting older, try to say more to more things, because now you know what you want to do, hopefully. And then you can narrow it down. And now, because I tried a lot of stuff in my 20s, now I know what I want to do for many, many years. So I have to say no to a lot of stuff. So yeah, it's so hard. And one thing I wanted to add to this whole phone thing, I don't know if you saw this from Paris on Sylvester, New Year's Eve.
Not watching news.
Yeah, it was like everywhere on social media as well. It's midnight. I don't know if this it was everywhere. It's just my information I got from the internet. And it was midnight, and there was this firework in Paris, and everyone was on his phone recording this.
Okay.
There was no celebration. There was no hugging going on, at least on the frame we saw. And it was a lot of people, just phones, recording this moment, the firework, and not experiencing the firework. You're going, imagine you're going to this place to meet thousands of people, to then sit there and record this moment with your phone. That's a video you never watch again. You can just watch the replay
they're making
on
an
YouTube.
after movie anyway, probably.
There are, I think, 1 million videos on YouTube after this.
Yeah.
And just everyone's standing there, and it's also saying no to the present moment in this case.
Yeah.
Just recording everything. And I mean, we are recording this conversation right now with cameras, but we are having a real conversation. So it's just a way how to build a brand nowadays to make this stuff online and create stuff. But I always try to be in moments like this, just presently, just experiencing the moment.
Yeah.
Nothing to say with saying no, but it's just one thing that popped into my mind when you said this.
But I think that's a very good point. I mean, being present, and I think also this example you just made with Paris and those people, we are living in a world where, and that's very, I mean, again, if someone is happy with that decision, so be it. But it's very wild to me that it became more important that someone has that recorded and can then send it probably to like 10, 15, 20 people to show off their amazing New Year's Eve. I think that's the point of that video. The video is just to be like, hey, my night was better than yours, basically. That's why people, I mean, not for everyone, obviously, but I think for the most people who are not kind of conscious about what they're doing, they just really do that. They record this event or this concert or whatever, and then they're going to send it to someone to low-key brag about how they spent their night or whatever, instead of just enjoying the night and then just, have a story maybe.
Yeah.
But again, just to that point once more, is we have the world changed. We are not sitting around, a bonfire anymore and have to hunt deer to survive and then tell each other, some stories. We have these high-tech devices at our fingertips every single second. And that this is actually happening, I mean, it's obviously not surprising. It's just how it is.
That's why we create content online, because clearly with stuff like this, you see where's the attention.
Yeah.
It's just, if they record a moment like this, instead hugging their loved ones, that's where the attention is. It's like this future. I mean, it is like how it is. Like you said, we are guilty ourselves, but I think we are managing this quite well right now.
Yeah, I would say so,
like creating instead of consuming. I think that's the big one for us. But it's a big one. The saying no. Should I move on?
Let's go with your second point. I'm
okay.
curious.
My second point, I try to get back into the story. So becoming a filmmaker on Mallorca, meeting Steve, creating amazing weddings, filming events, biggest DJs on the world. We had Martin Garrix, and we filmed Steve Aoki together in BH Club, I think was the name of the club. So that was a fun time, filming the big, like, amazing real estates, Mallorca, Ibiza. Yeah, it was a fun time. But what came with this is I'm a person, my goodwill is very high. It's like I'm a very, very kind person. And I walked through the world at this time just trying everyone is on the same page.
Yeah.
Everyone is just as good as I am, or trying to be as good. Like, obviously, I have also my bad days. It's just normal, but I always try to be good to people and to give stuff in advance. And yeah, that's not how reality works. It's not how life works. I realized this with clients who just used my content. It was always the clients who paid the least amount of money, who had the most amount of fixing this and other music, and like being a pain in the ass basically. And just went basically like clients where I was at this point where I'm preparing contracts and everything, and they are not reading not reading the contract. They're being so unfriendly. I remember, I think it was also with you, we went to somewhere in the east of Mallorca. I had a meeting with a client, and I'm always on time. I'm always there 5 minutes early. And I was in the office and waiting for him, and they just sent me into like some conference room. I'm seeing him there on his computer, browsing Facebook. And I waited, and I waited. I came all the way to his office. I waited. And like 10 minutes after we used to meet, like 10 minutes late, he then stood up and came to me. He was just browsing Facebook. And I just was too nice, and I hate myself for this. Like, I don't hate myself for this. It just was who I was at this time. But like nowadays, I would just stand up and like, fuck yourself, basically. I remember that day so I was like, but we just started an agency. You need the clients, and then this client, that's the same client. We sent a contract. I prepared like 7 pages with like a social media campaign and everything, and write everything down. He is getting for his money, and then the biggest pain in the ass for $500. Like, it was like a gift we did for him just to get him into our portfolio, basically. And he was not even ready to pay the $500. Why should I pay the $500 in front? I need to call your bank if your business is serious, if you don't run away with the money. Like, what do you think we are doing with $500? Like, escaping and traveling the world. And it's just clients like this where I got tested with my goodwill. And I think also in the startups we've been working afterwards, you know, I always try to believe and say yes. And no, we don't need a contract for stuff. And every time I'm saying no to a contract, or every time a client is saying no to a contract, I think it's the wrong client. It's just if you try to get a contract to a client and he says like we don't need this stuff, it's not the right client for you. So yeah, there happened so much stuff over the years where those are just clients and just stuff. And also in your private life, if there's just people and you try to be nice to them, I think it's also coming back to you saying no to things.
Yeah.
Where you think like it's not good for me. It's not, you know, it's not good for my business. It's not good for myself. It's just a pain in the ass. Get rid of them. Honestly, it's just nothing better you can do. Try to invest the time to get other clients, better friends who stand behind you, right? Now I have a few friends, but I know I can call you at 2 a.m. and say to you, send me $2,000 or something, and it's the next morning on my bank account. I know that, you know, and I think the same is from my side to your side. So I rather have like a few friends and a few clients, but true ones, and just say no. And yeah, I think that also comes back again to say no more. Say no to more things.
Yeah,
that's basically it. Yeah,
I think the goodwill part is probably just in our nature. You know, like we want to avoid conflict. We want to not be that person who is basically making a huge deal out of something, whatever that deal is, and then being also kind of like scared that this might be an opportunity that we cannot miss. And the good thing is about that, like the world right now is abundant when it comes to opportunities. If something doesn't work out, well, bad, but there is, 20 more opportunities waiting if you actually know what to look for. And yeah, I mean, the goodwill, I have been the same, actually, I would say. I mean, maybe not as much, but still, I would never want to have someone thinking bad about me. I think I was a yes sayer as well. I mean, that's why saying no is so important. I had so much on my plate, and then someone would just come in and be like, hey, this is important now too. And then I would be like, yes, no problem. And then the list just gets longer, and then you're like, why would I say yes to that now? Like, there's no capacity for that.
Yeah.
So yeah, goodwill goes hand in hand with saying yes, basically. And then also the opposite is saying no.
Yeah. So I think a key learning for both of us
Definitely.
to protect our time, basically. Like the time is really, after trying to run behind money, the most important thing you have in your life is time. It's just, I think we all know that it's you cannot buy back time. Like you said, a little bit with being fit and everything.
Yeah.
But who knows? Like there are people who are fit who are dying with like 50 years or something. So
Exactly.
you never know. So
You could be healthy, super healthy, and you don't know what's going to happen tomorrow.
yeah.
Like,
So spending the time wisely and saying no to the things that make you unhappy, I think it's super important to learn.
yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Should we check the camera?
Let's check it. I mean,
I think it's about time.
Yeah.
Because Canon makes amazing cameras. So let me introduce you, for everyone who's still listening, all wide angle. I'm sorry, I missed this. Everyone who's still watching, you can enjoy now
a third angle.
a third angle. All right.
Actually, it's the fourth. Like, this one took it.
This one took it.
This one is still recorded.
This became now the main.
This is okay. That's fun, actually. That's fine.
Cool. Yeah. Your
My third one, huh?
third one, yeah. Let's go.
So my third life lesson, I would say, is enjoying the good days, accepting the bad days. Again, came very, came back 2 weeks ago very strongly when I had certain, situations going on in life which were not as cool as maybe other moments. And usually when I look back on my life and when I was younger, I was very bad dealing with bad days. those bad days turned into bad weeks, and then the month was shit, and then basically, reflecting my year, the whole year was shit, basically. And now I think I think that goes for the two of us, because we have been pushing each other quite a lot in when it comes to having bad days. Like every time you or me has a bad day, then we just kind of like understand, even take workload off the table from that person maybe, and then just be like, hey, take your time, and then we look what's happening tomorrow. And that's something I learned for myself. Like life has not and is not and will never be this linear, whatever that is. Like it's always going to be waves. Everything, like, and that's kind of like, I don't know if this is too philosophical again, but it's kind of like everything around us is frequency and energy. It's all this or this, and the same is life.
Yeah,
they're exactly the same as life. Like you can never like just have good days forever. There will always be something that maybe upsets you, or maybe something happens which you would not expect that this would happen in your life, or an event happens and it kind of touches you. Like those are things they are not in your control, but you are in control about the emotions when it comes to those bad days. Like accept the bad days, and just be like, okay, I know that there will be the good days again, and I will be enjoying them. So I think this is a realization I kind of like, came to, I would say probably last year very strongly. And that, I mean, as you can hear, like most of my realizations actually came in the last 2 to 3 years. Before that, everything was kind of like me living in my 20s and not knowing what I'm doing. Like that's the truth. And now turning 31 and soon actually 32, I'm in an age where I think more like things that used to be important to me are not as important anymore as they, as other things. And today, just, as we had, like, health is important to me. I want to have healthy relationships with people I actually enjoy being around, and not just having 100 friends, and not really having relationships with any of them. So this, like the big picture, I think it's about this zooming out once in a while again. And especially when there is a bad day, then just zoom out and you will see that this bad day is just a fraction of what's happening in your life. It's small. Like if you break your leg tomorrow, well, that's a shitty day. I mean, you're not going to be like, yay, this is a good day. Like it's a shitty day, and you will have probably 2 to 3 weeks of shitty weeks. But you can accept them and be like, it's going to be okay again. And it's going to be like, there will be better days again, and things will be, there will be sun again, as cliche as it sounds. So, because I have had very dark moments with myself, and I also realized that, like, trying to motivate myself to do something is super hard. Like, that's super hard. But we tell ourselves that the motivation is what you need in life to succeed. Well, it's actually not the case. Motivation is maybe the one that starts the whole thing. But what actually keeps you motivated is the discipline behind it. And this goes back to having good days and bad days. On a good day, so obviously you are motivated. But what's going to happen if there is a bad day coming up? Well, then you need to reflect and be like, okay, this is why I'm doing this. This is the big picture. So I just have to stay on course, do my shit anyway. And then in, 4 weeks again, I can just laugh about that day. I think this combination of like saying no and also accepting good days, and stop seeing myself as a victim, or like just don't pay attention around negativity, has been a supercharger, I think, for me. And I think this is also why certain content I made last year maybe popped, because I have tried to communicate that through my content. And there was a lot of like goofy moments, but there was also a lot of like kind of moody and dark content, which just reflects certain moments in my life probably that I wanted to kind of communicate in that way. But that I think you can actually, in general, you can see when people have a bad time, like content creators, because their content changes or they disappear for a moment. So yeah, to not stretch this too long, because I think it's quite clear what this means. A bad day is a bad day, a good day is a good day. The big picture is important, and that's where I have realized that this is important to me. I need to understand that eventually nothing really matters, but then everything matters.
That's a conversation for
another podcast.
Maybe when we're 80 or something.
Yeah.
Wonder if we are still doing podcasts like at 80. Like,
would be cool, actually.
Would be nice. Let's see.
The longest podcast ever.
See you in 75 years for the second episode. No, I want.
We will be like over 100 then, no?
Yeah, sure.
Years.
Yeah,
that's good.
Anyways,
I'll take that.
My math is very strong. What I want to say, like the bad days, it's so hard to pull yourself out of this, because having a bad day, just you get into your thought loop. It just spirals everywhere, like everything you ever done, like everything is like the most terrible thing on earth. It's like, it's just a thought. That's the thing. Like that's what I learned with really meditating for a long time. Just that everything is just basically a thought. But to come back to this, if you're having a bad day and if stuff goes wrong, there's stuff I notice now. It's just mentioned that I'm saying this word. I'm learning. So
we can put a counter.
Yeah. Was there a lot of stuff?
I think there was a few, not as much as I used to hear it.
Yeah, I see if there's counter, the stuff counter. So just to pull yourself out of this is so hard. It's even, and this discipline thing is so important. You just then say to even, like, that's the most important part. If you have a bad day, to then have the discipline to go to the gym, because your day can start in a bad way, but then your discipline kicks in and you move yourself to the gym, and then everything is fine. Maybe you just need to lift some weights, or you need to go for a run, and then everything is great again. So maybe not. Maybe the rest of the day also sucks. But
then it is how it is.
Then it is like it is. Yeah.
Like it is how it is.
Yeah. Somewhere slipped somewhere.
I think your mouth was faster than your brain.
It happens a few times. So it's going to be a fun podcast. No, that's a great point. So yeah, should we jump into my third one?
Yeah, let's go to that one.
Yeah,
that's a good one.
Maybe my mouth stops slipping a little bit. So for me, the third one over the past years really is commitment. I think that's like the one word that puts everything together for me for the last years. Coming from Mallorca, I had my bad time. I think we both changed a bit. For you, it was more on Mallorca. There was so much stuff happening. And for me, it was after Mallorca, I had, how do you say?
A breakup?
A break, yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I just went back, and then COVID hit, and I was just, I was just stuck somehow. I always tried stuff, but I was stuck. And then if you're stuck, like you're in the thought loop, and it's hard to break out. And I knew it just needs time. It just needs time to get out of this stuff. So for me, there have been some opportunities for me that I didn't use, that hurt me a bit. So for me, like when I missed those opportunities, I said to myself, the next thing that comes up, I'm 100% committing to this. And I'm just at least pushing through for a year and then see. But let's do this for a year. I cannot say if something is working or not after a week or two, but just push through for a year, fully commit to this thing, and then let's see. And then you can adjust or commit to for 2 years. So this was a big one for me. after starting things like half-hearted, and let's just see where this goes. Let's just start, and then maybe it's something, maybe not. And yeah, it's just you're not committing to anything. And yeah, this leads to nowhere basically. And you start something again and again and again and again, and this just takes so much energy. And it's so exhausting if you start something new and again and again. And it's coming back to this the grass is always green on the other side.
Yeah.
Where you think, well, I could do this over there. That would be nicer.
Yeah.
But at some point you have to commit to something and you need to push through, because on the other side it's the same grass.
Yes.
Maybe it's a different kind of different type of grass, but it's the same. It also needs to grow, and same as for you need to work for your stuff to happen. So that's something I realized, that yeah, it's always going to suck at some point if you start something new. If you start like a new business or a new job, a new freelance, a new relationship, there will always be problems. Also coming back to the bad days, there will be bad days, and to accept them. So yeah, commitment is a big one for me, and just pushing through and building this discipline for myself. Because I think with commitment and with repeating stuff and doing it over and over again, I think that's the place where you build self-confidence.
Yeah.
I feel this myself now with doing all of this and doing all the workshops. And last year I trained for a marathon, and I did my training for half a year. It was not that the marathon didn't work out because of some event, but it was the training that grew my confidence, because I was proud of myself for doing this, for committing to this. I said, okay, I wanted to run a marathon. There was it again. I wanted to run a marathon for so many years, but I never committed to this. I always said, yeah, I will do this one day. Like the one when I was 21, when I was reading the real estate thing. One day. But one day you need to start and commit to this stuff.
Yeah.
Counter. So yeah, it's one thing that changed my life over the past years. And I think that's the same for Bulletproof. Truly commit to this thing, and no matter what comes up, we're pushing through this.
Yeah.
And there will be a lot of fun days and a lot of adventures and journeys, but there will also a lot of challenges, like the email today.
There will be a lot of shitty days too, yeah.
Yeah, so that's my last one, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think commitment is probably the most important one here, but I think if it comes to actually, wanting to make something for you happen, then commitment, I mean, this is everything. Again, it goes back to the motivation and discipline talk. I think and I realized that with content as well last year, like how many years are we both on certain platforms putting our content? And after, in my case, after 10 years, things started to actually kind of snowball. Is that now me being committed for 10 years? No, definitely not. But I committed last year heavily that I need to first change what I'm doing, mindset. Second, just tell myself that the outcome is not important, but the output is important. And I think that's where kind of like this magic lies, because people are so focused on followers, and I get it. I mean, I am there, or have been there, like I think right now, because I have reached a certain amount, I realize that it actually doesn't really matter. Like it's in terms of like networking and all, obviously it matters, but it doesn't make you happier. It's not like, yes, you have this 2 weeks where like, shit, this is happening. Like, okay, I'm set, like this is going to change my life. And then you realize after like 2 months, okay, nothing really changed. Yes, opportunities arise, but I still have to do something for this. It's not like I'm just now, cashing in and be like, this is influencer lifestyle, like, brand deals and free money. No, it's the opposite. Like now you actually need to understand what you're doing with this. and this is the commitment. You need to commit to do more than anyone else for a longer time than anyone else. And when if you can do that, then you will start realizing that it's not even that hard to be exceptional in this world, because most people do not have an attention span of 3 seconds. Like that's like we have a worse attention span than a goldfish these days because of our addiction to our phones and the algorithms and whatnot. So to beat the average person out there, you just need to be better than 3 seconds attention span. And that's back to the focus. And then commitment comes in, and it's like, then things start to like snowball, and you realize, okay, I just need to dedicate myself to something and actually have this inner fire, because if I have something that pulls me, then I don't care about the 3 second attention span. I actually use it to my advantage for the good and bad. I mean, that's totally up to anyone or to everyone, but hopefully for the good. Yeah,
it was super interesting to observe this last year, this growth of your followers. We've been talking last year in Indonesia about all of this stuff, where you've been stuck on this like 2K followers for years, and
forever.
And we talked about this, and basically you tried a few things, and you went back to Switzerland. We talked about this again, and like you really need to commit and stuff. I see it now. Now it's in my head. It's stuck into my head. It's in here. So
it's reprogramming.
It was really, really interesting to see how nothing changed. We talked about this on the German podcast, how you changed your behavior and your lifestyle, but you're still stuck at 2K followers.
Yeah.
But then this was happening at this time.
Yeah, exactly.
It was happening at this time. Like I think a few weeks after the podcast.
Yeah.
This happened, and there was nothing. You talked about this basically before this happened.
That's very interesting.
So sorry for all the English speakers. It's in German, but that's
a proof.
that was super interesting. Yeah. And we met after this, and he said like didn't change anything.
Nothing
just
changed.
Pushed out videos, committed to this.
Yeah.
And here we are. With your growth last year, and now with Bulletproof, we're trying to figure all of this out to still build this community, and it's very hard and tricky point to as a creator to now go from being on social media and just posting stuff to trying to make a business out of this. So it's a very, very interesting journey so far.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
Yeah. I mean, that's the life lessons. I hope this was maybe valuable to some of you who are maybe also still like a little bit younger listening to this. It's what we learned, and there's so much more to life. it's such a
never
story.
ending.
And yeah, I mean, we have a few questions like as kind of a 2024 preview left to end the podcast with some predictions or some curious questions. Should we dive into those?
Yeah.
So just easy ones, nothing too special. So what's the favorite film or series for you coming up this year? Like you're looking forward to? Just
honestly, I have not done my homework here.
I mean, it's just random question.
Yeah.
Maybe there's something.
But actually, I'm very into films. I think it's Dune, probably. Because it's the only one I remember that this one is coming this year.
Yeah.
I don't know. I have no clue what's happening in the outside of this content creation game right now. It's Dune. Yeah. I think there's probably more than this, but it's the only one I remember.
Yeah, I think Dune is in beginning of March.
Is it already happening?
It's not too far away.
Okay.
So Dune 2.
You could even do it in Indonesia then.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
100%. Dune 2.
Yeah.
Cinematic masterpiece.
Yeah.
Let's see. And I think it will be great because it's based on a book. So
Yeah.
I think there should not be too much random stuff happening.
No.
Yeah.
No.
I think also Gladiator 2 is coming out at the end of the year.
Really?
Yeah. But
With Russell Crowe?
I think so. So
Really? That's
there's a
interesting.
Gladiator 2 coming out of this year. I think that's also exciting. But otherwise, I'm with you with Dune 2. I think that will be great. The music, it's just...
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's one of the best movies I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Very unique.
Very unique,
Very
very
unique.
dark.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
It's funny because just to add something there, like I yesterday, because I wanna get into a habit where I go to bed and actually do something that has nothing to do with growth or business or whatever, like just something totally random. And I started reading Dune in German, but just to get my head, kind of just a fiction, just something that has nothing to do with real life, and just puts me in a moody, in a sleepy state, and then I drift off with Dune, and yeah,
and then you dream being in the desert and
maybe, and looking for the spice.
Yeah, spice.
Yeah.
No, this will be great. This will be a fun time. So let us know what your favorite things, movies, series is coming up this year. Maybe we are missing something big. I know there are a few series coming out, but also did a lot of research.
Maybe Stranger Things. No, I think they should be coming with one.
I have no idea. Never watched this.
Oh, it's amazing. It's
Yeah.
dark.
So much stuff. So much stuff. Just went into the Apple TV hype, but I watched One Mankind over the past weeks.
Yeah.
The first one was amazing, and then it's just getting weird, like a TV soap. I don't know. It starts dark on the moon and very interesting, and then it's getting into this family TV soap thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not really convinced so far with Apple TV. I have to say.
Honestly, just to 1 minute. I mean, like I think two things happened: music and Apple TV, and we tried it, and I think we both can say that it can compete with Netflix and Spotify. I mean, and I can that say for myself. I think music is a good platform. I think it's huge in the US. So many people are using that, and obviously because it's Apple and there's a huge ecosystem around it. But I wanted to see and give it a chance, and it was a free trial, to actually see if it can compete with Spotify. It cannot, in my opinion. It's just not, and also the same, like, not to bash Apple. I mean, you see that there is enough Apple devices around here, but it's like, yeah, and then the same goes with Apple TV. Like I have watched maybe two. Like I have watched what is the movie? Just the killer, the killer.
Killers of the Flower Moon.
Yeah. It's a good one. Obviously very long, but that's the one. And then we started the like Foundation, the other series. It started out to be very cool, but I only think that's the case because we were very stunned by the visual part. Like it was very, very visually like amazingly created. I mean, Apple has money, we all know that, but the storytelling is so bad.
I think that's the problem. It's very nice. The experience with Apple TV is very nice. Also, it's the same with Apple Music. It's a very nice UI, user interface.
Yeah.
I really like it. The quality is top notch. It's the best quality you get there, but it's very hard to find new music. I think that's and that's what I expect from a music streaming service, to find cool music. And there's like, let us not dive into too deep into the Apple.
That one is still good, right?
I think so.
Damn, where's my million?
I think we are almost there
Yeah.
to finish off the Apple Music, Apple TV thing. Storytelling. That's a big one. Quality, top notch storytelling, and okay, let's move on. What is your favorite creator right now? Maybe in the social media landscape you are enjoying watching, like maybe on Instagram, maybe on YouTube, whatever it is.
Damn, these questions are very in my face because I have not checked them.
But I don't know, I have to also think now. So I didn't think much about this as well.
I cannot name one that is my favorite creator. I think it's a mix of a lot of creators. And also there's so much content right now that I'm a bit overwhelmed to even answer this question. I go just with the classic ones because I think that's where I also kind of want to go and see myself in a way, with my content. I would say like, obviously Carl Shakur is still one of my favorite ones. not really consuming him right now, but I think just what he does in terms of being an artist and actually a content creator is on another level. He's a very huge inspiration. And when we go into the self-development kind of scene, then I think it's Tom Nusky. I mean, that's the thing. I don't consume that much content that I now have a favorite content creator. Like I do consume, but it's not like this is the one, you know. I mean, I think the obvious ones, Dan Coe, I don't know. Yeah, but I think if I would need to choose one, it's Carl Shakur as an artist.
Yeah.
I think he's just amazing.
He's an amazing artist, yeah.
Yeah.
Stuff he puts out of, it's so much talent, but also so much work he puts into his work.
Yeah.
So much work he puts into his work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So that's my statement to that. And for me, I'm more on Instagram, I don't know. There's no one where I say like, that's the one on Instagram. You know me, I have like a hate-love relationship with this platform. So Carl Shakur is amazing, obviously. There's also this guy, I think you know his name. He's also on Bali right now. He's doing like also the talking headshots like you do some kind, with talking about life experiences in a train. I think he has broken his leg or something.
Josh. Yeah.
Yeah. His videos are just the scenery and
very nice guy.
Very, very nice videos. Yeah. Just how he creates this and the message he's trying to get through the video.
Yeah.
So that just popped out for me on Instagram
go on.
We write his name here on the white wall. So yeah, Josh. Then for me it's really the podcast. I think Chris Williamson has done an incredible job building his podcast. Just the production quality is like a cinema production. He has a team now of, I don't know, I just throwing out a random number here, like 15, 20 people building the setups, renting huge, storage apartments or something, and just building his setup in there and just recording podcasts with amazing guests. So I'm not listening to every episode because it's very broad. So there's like, talk this, and then it's about dating, and then it's about being healthy. So it's very, very broad, but some guests are amazing. Yeah. So I think this one with David Goggins was amazing.
He's awesome, yeah.
And yeah, we are also enjoying his drinks at the moment. So good job with this one.
Sold.
Yeah. And last year for me, a big motivation was David Goggins, just to get through my marathon training.
Yeah.
He's just, it's gonna suck, let's go.
He is pushing, yeah.
And then it's just listening to his audiobook on a run, there can nothing go wrong.
Nothing can go wrong.
I run for miles now.
Yeah.
So David Goggins is great, and obviously Lex Friedman in the podcast space. He is just the amazing podcast he had with Elon Musk a few times, and so interesting conversations, very deep conversations. I think that what makes him special. Yeah. To ask the right questions. So
ask the right questions and also like not talk a lot. You know, he just really knows how to actually be a good interviewer. He just sits there, he asks a question, which is a very good question, and then the person on the other side is just going for it.
Yeah.
I agree with those names. Honestly, I was not even thinking about them because those, for me, are not, I mean, they are content creators, but they're more like podcasters for me in that case, which is the same thing, I guess. I don't know. So I didn't even think about them, but I agree with all of them.
Last one, I have to name, you know me, Roberto Nixon, I think is a big inspiration for me over the past weeks and months. Just this combination between tech and creativity. It's the same thing we talk about. And I think he is doing this on a very interesting way to provide news, but also in storytelling. He's very good in storytelling, putting this into short videos. So Roberto Nixon is putting everything. I found him on Twitter, just found this nice frame, and then it's just very interesting how he speaks about content. So that's also the last one for me. So
yeah, good ones. Yeah.
Next question: what are you generally most excited about this year when it comes to content creation and the social media landscape? If you look ahead, like what excites you most coming up this year for the social media space?
I think I think in terms of technology, not a lot, because I mean, obviously the Vision Pro is going to be interesting, but that's not something I would say is going to be for the content creation space right now. It's more like trying to market probably and see where we are in 2 years. But when it comes to content creation, I think what I'm most excited about is actually about myself trying long form content seriously, like in a serious way, because I have been stuck with myself in this short form content creation game for a very long time and have never really committed to put out long form content. So for me personally, I think that's the most exciting part about this year, that I can have this opportunity now to actually go deep into, just more in-depth content actually. But I'm not sure if this is the question. Is it more about technology or?
No, when it comes just, I mean, that's really a nice point. But when it comes just to trends in the social media space, what excites you when you see Facebook, Instagram, YouTube? Is there something special you have an eye on? Otherwise, whatever comes to mind,
Yeah. I mean, the trends are always shifting. As we talked about, attention is always shifting. I think with that long form content, I have the feeling that those short form content platforms are going to introduce that in a way, like, because I can already see on TikTok that 16:9 is a thing now. So, and like natively, not that you actually have to flip your phone, but it's actually made for 16:9.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's coming. Yeah. Oh. So I think this tells me that something is changing, and I'm not sure why that now actually is happening, but somehow in the back of my head, I have the feeling that because of all those virtual reality devices being on the verge of being introduced to society, and then we don't need vertical anymore. So it makes completely sense. Like, it makes so much sense that now 16:9 is being back introduced again, because this is going to be the way we are going to consume content in, not tomorrow, but I would say probably in 3 to 5 years.
Maybe save your answer for the last question on this one.
Cool.
But
that's my answer then.
Nice points. For me, it's also integrating long format again into the smaller apps. I think Instagram is already pushing. I saw a reel which was like longer than 2 minutes. So it's already some kind of happening. And I think the interest is also going there. See this on YouTube, just this long form. The reels, it's just sometimes content I just see myself and what am I watching here? It's just so not valuable content. And it's just wasting time. And yeah, that's something I'm looking forward to. But there was something else I wanted to talk about. Anyways, let's move on. I think we are already far in the podcast. So fourth question, what is your biggest struggle you try to overcome this year? For yourself, maybe personally, maybe as a content creator.
Well, it goes back to the last answer, actually, to stick to creating long form content. I think, is it a struggle? It's more like a challenge. What is your biggest struggle you try to overcome this year?
Can be anything, just.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
I can go ahead if you want.
Yeah, go ahead. I don't know.
For me, we talked about this a few days ago. Just overcoming this. I had this realization, I think, a few days ago, that I had some kind of trying to be too nice when it comes to conflicts.
Yeah.
I'm just this nice guy. And I think, like, just the full context here, I did a breathwork session. I think we got introduced into breathwork a year ago or something. It's really amazing to just unlock your ego and dive into your subconscious brain. Is that how you tell? Is it in English?
Yeah, your subconscious.
It's just like some kind of therapy with yourself. And there's this amazing app, and I just discovered for myself I was some kind of being mobbed in school. Not the worst mobbing, but it was significant. It was a bit that I tried to always be like some kind of invisible in school, and I think this just became a part of me. to try to get out of conflict, to not have conflict anywhere. And that's something I realized now, that this made me like, I still want to be kind. Doesn't mean that I want to become an asshole now, but I want to stand up for myself more.
Yeah.
And not go out of, not, how do you say, like, I want to face the conflict and just be true to myself.
Not to hide, basically.
Yeah. Not to hide, and just say what I want to say.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad thing I want to say. It's just standing, bless you. just getting my words out there, and maybe having one or two more conflicts to really find the truth.
Yeah.
I think that's what I want to say. So that's something I try to overcome this year. Yeah. Just very personal, but just what popped into my mind.
Yeah, that's a good one. I mean, that's definitely that definitely makes sense to overcome that. I mean, for me, honestly, I don't know. I think if there is something that I still maybe struggle a lot with, not a lot, I got way better, but it's the impulsive nature sometimes, which is, it's more hard for the people around me than it is for me. So that's, I think, what I, because it can be very exhausting. I know that it can be very, I mean, you know that. Like, yeah, it can be very exhausting. So I want to be more aware of that behavior, because I don't want to exhaust my people around me. So yeah, that's the one. I think I would probably just try to be more conscious about that. Try to be just more, actually focus.
That's also, I thought about this too. Yeah, that's also a big one.
I think it's actually a no-brainer. It's focus.
Yeah.
And we talked about it already. So yeah.
Yeah, focus is a big one.
Yeah.
100%. Just focus. It's amazing how much stuff you can get done if you truly focus. We teach about this in Bulletproof. It's if you just take this Pomodoro technique, take your phone away and focus on the tasks you want to do and do them.
Damn.
It's crazy how long your day is now.
Yeah.
Like what we did today is film the YouTube video, this and film the person branding course and mail thing, recording a podcast.
Went to the doctor, so I have like
just one day
clean ears now. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
that's a good one. Yeah.
Last one, I think it's already quite some. Yeah. Let's see. As a huge Apple nerd, I have to ask this question to end this podcast. What impact, because the Vision Pro will launch at the end of the month in the US, it will be very limited.
Yeah.
But I'm super excited how Apple integrates stuff like this, like into the content creation. So what impact will the Apple Vision Pro have this year? Do you think it will change how people consume content? I think that's the big question here when it comes to content creation, social media and stuff.
I think we talked about this many times, and we both agree that this product will revolutionize the industry once again. But in the long run, I think in the short run, like this year, I do not see this Vision Pro that it becomes a huge hype. Because first of all, there is not many that are being produced. I think you mentioned that. I think it's like 200K pieces. And then also it's very highly priced. It's very expensive for like a consumer market. So I would say this year, I don't see that this is going to change a lot how we consume content. But in the long run, once they actually know how people want to see content, and also the development, with the apps, which are obviously there's going to be a new app store, which they already introduced or just kind of talked about. That is a new model that in 5 years from now, I would say, is going to be pretty glasses, smaller, augmented reality, virtual reality, whatever, and will be how we are going to consume content. Like now it's on our phone doing this, or mostly this, and then it will probably just be this, and you will be consuming content on the go. You will be always basically able to consume content whenever you want, with just basically maybe doing this or whatever. So I think I'm very excited about this. At the same time, it's very scared. It's very it's very scary because we are already somehow of a society that kind of lost touch with each other. Not really sure if this is going to help us getting more touch to each other. Because yes, we can see each other in the virtual reality, but checking the statistics, that didn't really help when it comes to depression and all that. So I don't think
9 p.m. everyone.
So is this going to be
Let's try.
fine.
Let's try.
So I don't think this is actually something that will have only net positive outcomes, but at the same time I'm super excited because technology is something I'm always excited about. We have to evolve, and that is part of the evolution, and Apple doesn't bring out something they have not done their market research.
No.
So, and they have been building this for 10 years. So yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see what's happening with that.
They've put in billions, and now we know what those screens are doing with our time.
Yeah.
Back in the day when the iPhone came out, everyone was hyped, oh, amazing. Then the App Store came 1 year later.
Yeah.
And then Instagram came, and we've been able to share stuff on the go. Before it was just Facebook on some kind of like website. Then it was on the phone. And now we're here making podcasts with 5 cameras and everything, talking about stuff, sharing this with the internet. It's amazing because you can listen to conversations of the biggest leaders. I think the last one was Jeff Bezos was amazing.
Yeah.
Elon Musk, listening to those geniuses is just such incredible value to think, to see how they think. And with this, there are so much opportunities coming up, but so much weird decisions when it comes to, being social, because now you can be social in the virtual reality. But I think it's really this point coming down, this form factor coming down in the next years. It's like Meta is doing this right now with the smart glasses, which is very small, but there's just sound and AI integration, which is not there yet, but will be there this year somehow at any time. So you can make videos now with this. And at this point, if you have the small glasses and you can just put a video here, that would be amazing. Just put stuff here and we can both see it just with regular kind of glasses without putting this huge thing on your head. But it's also amazing for consuming content. So that's why I asked this question, because there was, I think, Matti I don't know how his last name is. Hapoya, yeah. He talked about this, that this is the future of filmmaking, because he had this experience where he watched a video which had like some kind of depth, and it felt like he was in a room with the artist. So, and there also, I read that the Apple TV app comes with 150 3D movies. So now you can watch native 3D, just putting this on your head without going to the cinema. So this will change a lot of stuff when it comes to consuming content, creating content. You can now, on your iPhone 15 Pro, you already can switch on it's already in there. You can, if you have an iPhone 15 Pro, you can already now record videos for your Vision Pro. Yeah. Like the spatial video. Yeah. It's not, I watched this, I had the Quest Pro and I had like this file from an iPhone 15 Pro. I watched this. It's cool, but it's not something where you think like, wow. It's just like there's some kind of depth the closer you are to the object. But this brings so many new opportunities, and I think we will have the big breakthrough. Now we have the App Store in a virtual reality device. Meta tried this, but it's just somehow made for kids, like the avatars. It just doesn't feel right. But Apple tries to just bring everything from an iPad, from your phone, into this thing, and you see your real world, and then you can turn the crown, and then you can just be fully immersed into some kind of VR world to watch your movies and everything. So I think it will like, I think not Apple will bring up the revolutionary content creation stuff, but I think other people will. People like who built Instagram. How we can use this, especially the podcast. Imagine you are in wherever, in Brazil or something, and I'm in Indonesia, and we have this virtual podcast room where we can meet in a nice room. And just record ourselves with our digital avatars that look exactly like we are looking right now. And now you can have this conversation, and maybe you as a listener, viewer, you can join the conversation. and just sit there and move your head and watch us.
Yeah.
Maybe you can even do talks like this live. So there's like, I think there's so much stuff coming up. Even you can redefine movies. If you are fully immersed in this world, now you can create a movie which doesn't need to have a screen. So you can be in the movie.
Yeah.
And this movie can be created around you. So I think there's over the past, but like I said, this will not be something that is like the Vision Pro comes and then we have everything here. I think this is over the next 5 years, we will see so much interesting stuff there, which like price point coming down, new apps, new people entering this market, and people are looking for new experiences. When it comes, people are bored of the phones. Oh, just a new 15x lens. Boring.
Yeah.
So people are looking for something new.
Yeah.
That's why Meta and OpenAI. So when it comes to tech, like that's, you know me, that's where I'm passionate about, as you can hear. So it's going to be an interesting time with all AI stuff. Yeah, I think we have enough. I think our battery is running out.
Yeah, this one's about to die there.
Should we just...
Yeah, I think this was... Let's wrap it. I think this was a lot.
This was a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we hope you guys enjoyed this. Let us know in the comments below. If you like this first episode, also for the first one, of course, like a thumbs up would help a lot.
Comment and subscribe, of course. I mean, that would always help out the channel.
Yeah.
Especially in the beginning. And of course, always.
Always. If you watch this later. So yeah, it was a lot of fun. Let's do this again.
Let's do this again.
Very soon.
In 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Back. Perfect.
I think the next 2 weeks is still in Switzerland. And then we have tropical episodes coming up.
Tropical episodes, that should be very nice. I'm super excited.
I'm so excited, yeah.
So excited.
Cool, that was fun. See you.
Cheers, guys. And see you in the next one.
Okay, that's a sign.
Perfectly timed. Perfectly timed.
Let's go.
The most important one when I go, like when I'm not the most important one here, but I think,
but
then it is how it is.
Then it is how it is. Yeah.
Like it is how it is.
Yeah. Somewhere slipped somewhere.
I think your mouth was faster than your brain.
It happens a few times. So
because most people do not have an attention span